What's going on, everybody? It's Justin, editor of Rapzilla.com, and I am privileged to bring to you, I'll call it the cast of the song The Bride. And we have Kris Noel, we have Bri Smilez, we had Mod the producer, we have Rhyan LaMarr, and we have NDS. And we're going to talk about this really dope track, The Bride, that dropped today. This song is really special. This music video is really special. It takes place in all different parts of the world. It's in all different languages and it's all different people. So Rhyan, you kind of found yourself putting the pieces together of this track, this kind of like Google search vision that you had when you were looking up what to do. So can you talk a little bit about that and how this formed?
Yeah, so me and Mod, anything that we've done musically at Red Gorilla, Mod has always kind of been the spearhead of that, and so I bother Mod with my ideas whenever I get. And we were actually supposed to be done with Bri's music. We had said we were going to do a couple of songs, so you've heard Revivolution, you've heard Doves and Crows, and we were done. And literally sitting in quarantine one day in the morning, and the Lord kind of pressed upon me to start searching. And if anybody knows, like back in the day, if you were a DJ or you were a producer, you would go to the record store and flip through records and try to find new sounds. So I don't play anything. I play my mind. And then I hit up Mod, and Mod goes to town. But so my record store is YouTube, and I was going through YouTube and going through sounds and stuff like that. And I said, let me look up just like different voices of CHH artists outside of America. And this playlist came up of, it said like Tamil Christian rap. And I was like, I have no idea what that is, but I'm gonna click on it and I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna listen to it. And this song came up, and I was like kind of listening to all the artists, and I like got locked on NDS, and I was like, yo, that dude is dope. And so I went on and like searched him and found his info, sent him a message and said, yo, I got this song that I'm thinking of. I want to involve you on it. And he was like, cool, right? So I hit up Mod, because me and Mod have like these normal like Zoom sessions and everything like that. And when we work on music, and I said I got this idea of bringing in like this Tamil rapper, and I know I'm probably saying that wrong, NDS, but this Tamil rapper, and calling Kris and doing something special for Bri's project, her album that we've been working on. So Mod was like, I thought we was done. um, and but I've always kind of wanted to do stuff outside of the box, and me and Bree had just been having this conversation maybe a couple weeks prior to that, just about the bride in the church, and about bringing the church together. And if anybody knows, if anybody ever listens to the music that we're doing, it's all about unity. It's all about unity. It's all about the kingdom. And I think sometimes even in the music that we create, I mean, I live in Chicago, so sometimes we got to look outside of Chicago, outside of America, and realize that Christ is everywhere. And you know, um, so this vision kind of came together like that. And me and mine, I had sent mine. What I send you, like sound effects and some samples and things like that. Again, like a DJ would be finding sounds. And I sent mine a whole bunch of ideas, and we were on Zoom together, and we started creating. And we actually have this actual whole thing that we edited together that's going to come out too. So you'll be able to see like the construction of it, even down to the hook when we came up with the hook over Zoom and stuff like that. But that was kind of that's kind of like the how it all started. And a lot of people don't know about like Bri, which well now let me rephrase that, you're editing this. What a lot of people didn't know about Bri is that she can spit Spanish, and then I hit up Kris, and if you heard Relief, Kris, what was it, 4 different languages, man, 3 different languages. What was you doing?
No, it was definitely three different languages. Yeah,
Were you included English?
yeah. Nah, It was for it. It's for it.
So as a language, bro. And so you know, and Bri and Kris can go more into this when they chat, but I pulled them on WhatsApp and I said I got an idea, and I kind of like was like, look, I'm gonna map it out, because it gets kind of mundane when like it's like, all right, rapper verse, rapper verse, rapper verse. You know, it starts to get a little, you know, outdated. And what I know, the school I come from was like groups like Bone Thugs and stuff like that. There was a lot of artists on one track, but they were trading line for line, bar for bar, stuff like that. So I was like, y'all should have a conversation in all these multiple different languages, you know, and on that first verse. And then NDS will come in on that second, you know what I mean, on the second after the hook, and just kind of orchestrated that together. And it'll be a great conversation about the bride in the church, you know, and they can go more into detail on that. But that was kind of the process. That was that's how it was birthed. Mine, I don't know if you want to chime in on that.
I mean, yeah, I think you laid it out great. I don't think I have to do any more than what you did. I mean, you know, honored to be the brainchild of majority of the records. And I mean, obviously it's not just me, but you know, Rhyan and I are always the fire starters. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't explain it no better. I knew when he came with the ideas and came with the sounds, and then we started just sound like freaking with some of the sounds. But I was like, oh, I already know this is going beyond America, right? This is going beyond your typical 50 states. This is going international, you know. And so when he told me he was getting Kris Noel, what up, Kris?
What's happening, bro? How you feeling?
Kris actually wrote a song for my wife. Well, he wrote a song for me for my wife.
Gotta clarify that.
Yeah.
You guys seem real buddy about it. So it must have been okay.
Nah. He wrote a song for me for my wife's anniversary. So that's when I knew. After I heard Relief, and then when we did what we did, like I already knew, like, yeah, like I can imagine how the conversation is gonna be on this song. I mean, because Kris is already versatile in his languages and stuff, and obviously I'm new to NDS, you know, via when we first got started with the song. And I listened to his music, and I was like, man, and I already knew what Bri was coming with, so I was like, man, yeah, I can kind of see the vibe, you know what I'm saying? Before we even get to the finish line, I can already see it. So yeah, Rhyan laid it out really, really nicely. And so I'm honored to be a part of the record for sure.
So as you were building the beat though and putting it together, did it help kind of knowing the backgrounds and the style of the artists that were going to be on it to sort of fit their parts to them? Or did you kind of have it already laid out and everybody just fit into it?
I'll be honest with you. Usually that part comes later, right? Me and Rhyan don't try to dig too deep yet. You know, he throws the ideas out there, but like when I'm in like the beat making process and when we're just like kind of vibing, it's really more about like what it's gonna feel like first, right? And so you'll notice when you hear the song, you'll hear some samples in there, you hear some chains in there, and it's like it's kind of like unrelatable in a sense to the beat is unrelatable in a sense, but when it all comes together, the different sounds you hear that are all together, like they still make the message what it is. And so I don't try to dig into it too much before they hop on. It's really more so like, all right, we got a foundation. Let's finish building a little bit. Let's finish building the house just a little bit. We ain't putting the furniture in yet. We ain't really painted yet, but we'll send it to them. And then once we get, their stuff back, man, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we gotta tweak some stuff here and tweak some stuff there. And then that's where Jack Rare comes in, and he's a monster all by himself. He's a machine all by himself. And once us three get together and we put the paintbrush on that thing, we know when it's a wrap. So
yeah, man, that's dope. That's great. And Bri, what made you want to get involved with this single and kind of champion it? Like, this is your single. So what's the whole message? What was your whole plan of attack behind writing this track?
Well, I'm super, super excited about this track because it is a unity anthem. We live in the United States of America, but now it's looking more like the divided states of America. And, God and Jesus is very deliberate when he says he's coming back for the bride. He doesn't make it race specific, gender specific, culture specific. He says the bride, so being a part of something that is globally like unifying, that we are all the bride. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter what culture you come from, what background you come from, what area of the world you come from. He's coming back for his purified bride. And for us as the body of Christ, to realize what hour it is and that we need to be united during this time, because Jesus's return is near now more than ever. So it was a call to action to the body of Christ that Jesus' return is his coming, and we need to unite as the kingdom of light to be able to handle the systemic corruption and division that's happening right now. We need to unite as the kingdom of light, and to bring heaven down in this hour. So and if you even think about the sanctity or the demonstration of what a marriage is, God created marriage. He created that union, that word. That union is very, it was created by the Lord's hands. So if you realize what a bride means, and the preparation process of what a bride does, she is purifying herself, making sure that she is faithful, she is ready to commit, to that husband that awaits her at the altar, to take that vow of commitment. So God has already said, I'm your bridegroom. You're the bride. I've already made my commitment to you. And I'm waiting for you to say yes to me. I'm waiting for you to say I do to me, so we can unite in this union, so we can have this type of bond, where it's holy matrimony forever and ever throughout all of eternity. It's such a love bond, what he has with us. And once we realize that love bond, it makes us want to be faithful to him. There's perks of being a bride to a husband. There's a covering that happens. There's a provision that happens, and he wants to be that for us. So when it says, God is coming back for a purified bride, it's the demonstration of those who are faithful to him. He's coming back for those that have said yes to him. He's coming back for those that are the remnant, those that are standing in, when you watch the music video, I'm dressed as a bride, but I'm in a recycle yard, a very dirty place, but I'm still the bride. And it's symbolic towards God is coming back for a purified bride in a filthy world. So we need to be utilizing this time, because we should all know as the church what hour we are in, that we need to be utilizing this time to purify ourselves, to purify not only our bodies, our holy temples, but our minds, to purify our hearts, to purify our motives, to purify ourselves in the way that we treat people, no matter what skin color they are, because it says in the word that it's impossible to love God and hate your brother. So it's these themes, and it's the word of God that is still true and still relevant today as it was when it was written. So we as the body and as the church and as the bride, they're all synonymous in the kingdom. We should be rising right now to unite as the body and the bride that we've been called to be.
Awesome. That was really dope. And I actually was going to ask you about the background. I was going to ask everybody if there was something unique about their background. You cut to the chase, so that was cool. But NDS, I wanted to ask you, what does Christian hip hop look like in India, and also what's your experience with American Christian hip hop, aside from this song, if any?
When I start to do music, Tamil Christian rap music, I listen lyric first. I do not listen Tamil rap, but I listen lyric, Tedeschi, and KB. And now in our countries, Sri Lanka, India, because I'm from France, but in our countries there are not many rappers. There are 5, 10, or 15 rappers in Tamil. and I know that it will be developed in the future. There will be I see in 2020 there are many new rappers coming, but they are inspired with American rappers. You know, the American flow. We really love American flow, and we try to mix American flow with our flow to do something great for our God.
So how did it feel to kind of now be on this American track? Like Ryan kind of just found you. I don't even want to say it's by chance, because obviously this was all like ordained to happen, right? But what was it like to kind of get get contacted by Ryan and be like, hey, I have this whole grand vision and I want you to rap in your own native language, where you're from, and to be on a track, and we're going to do this in America, put it out in America for everybody.
Yeah, you know, when Ryan contacted me, I think it's an advertisement, you know, like it's not real. And I asked my wife, because I didn't know Ryan, and I told her he's a really a rapper for our God. Can I really trust him? You know, and I pray, and yeah, you can feel to God the will in this project. You can really feel, even if our language are different, because I understand English a little bit and talk a little bit, but you can feel the unity, the same spirit, you know. And for me, it's like one dream, you know, to mix culture, to mix flow, language, and do something really great for our God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I always think it's funny when people from other countries too. They're like, yeah, I only, I don't speak English too well. I only understand a little bit, when like 90% of Americans can barely even speak English the right way. So the fact that you're just having a conversation with me is fantastic. And then we have Kris and Bri, who combine know like 40 languages. So I mean, it's really funny. So Kris, I wanted to ask you about that. Why and how do you know so many languages? And I'm assuming, I don't want to assume, but like, is it difficult? Is it not difficult for you to sort of just switch back and forth? Because I mean, you do it all the time, and I know rhyming, as far as making words rhyme, like words are totally different in different languages that would actually fit as rhymes. So how do you make that happen?
Got you. So since I've been young, I've always loved languages. I have no idea why. I grew up in Texas, was surrounded by Spanish, obviously, and one part of it was I just wanted to know what people were saying around me. I didn't want to be like outside the conversation, so that was that. So that was like one of the reasons I started learning. But the other reason was I'm just drawn to different cultures, and so me being able to love on people in their own language is a big thing for me. My dad is from Haiti, so that's where the Haitian came from. And India, you know this. I mean, I absolutely love soccer, and that's a world sport. So that's where the whole Portuguese, all that type of stuff came from. But it is conversationally, when you're speaking to somebody, if you have to switch back and forth in the language, it is pretty hard. I almost feel like there's two different personalities, or there's a personality that goes with each culture or each language. Rhyming wise, it is a bit of a challenge, because the inflections and the tones and just the different things that you have to do with your voice that you bring to the table, it's different, and it is a bit challenging, but it's part of the art, and I love it. So
which Kris Noel raps the best?
the English rapping. Well, yeah, it's my mother tongue, so I can blitz out in that
So
a little bit better.
you can't out rap yourself in another language. Your actual self.
I should do something like that. I should try something with that.
You gotta like Spanish Kris versus English Kris versus Haitian Kris. Like,
Hey,
there you go. There's a free idea for you.
that's out.
I did.
Now, Bri, what about you? You got some multi-language things going on too in your verse. So I don't know. I guess sort of kicking back the same question to you.
Yeah, so so the first half of my life I lived, with my family, with my grandparents, and my grandmother only spoke Spanish. So that was a huge influence when I was younger. The As I grew older, like, a lot of people don't really know what nationality I am. So I only spoke predominantly English, but I still, like, I understand and understood Spanish, entirely with communication with my grandmother. But my grandmother was the only person I really spoke Spanish to. So the language went away for a really long time. It wasn't until, like, recently where I knew that was a weapon that used to be a sword, but it turned into a butter knife type situation. So I recently, like, brought out the rusty sword and was like, okay, this needs to get sharpened, so I've been working on it again to sharpen it. But I knew, especially for this particular song, I'd never spoke Creole like that. Kris Noel, he is a mastermind in the language arena. And so he helped me with that. And it's funny how what your mouth does with different types of dialects, and the difference in the sound, out of one mouth, the same mouth that you have, but it's a different type of construct that you have to make completely. So it's like training the tongue and training the mouth to make different sounds that normally aren't comfortable to you. That's probably the hardest part. But yeah, I'm definitely sharpening my Spanish sword again. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Go
I
ahead.
want to throw something real quick. Kris and Bri, please tell them, because so obviously we're in quarantine. Obviously, COVID is what it is. So none of us were in the same studio together ever. And so somebody never speaking Creole, are we saying that right? Is it Creole or is it Haitian? What is she speaking?
It's Creole. Creole's fine. That's
so
perfect.
Somebody who has never spoken Creole, right? And I said, hey, you're gonna rap Creole on this song, and Kris is gonna help you with it, and you gotta do it in a week. So
yeah,
talk about that and tell them about the studio session, because me and Kris
oh my
thought
gosh,
he was gonna pull us through the phone and be done with us on that. That was
so this is your fault, Rhyan.
Yeah,
oh yeah. So this song challenged me as an artist in a way I've never been challenged before. Not only was I rapping in Spanish for the first time, Rhyan was like, surprise, you're gonna be rapping in Creole too. And I was like, I have how long to learn this? He's like, you have until Friday. And I was like, well, all right. So, Kris Noel, he's a mastermind. Like, he's super modest, but I get to boast on him. He doesn't have to boast on. He is a master linguist. Like, I couldn't have done it without. So we were standing in this studio and I'm twisting my tongue in all these different directions that it's not comfortable, being in. But like, he was so patient with me, and it was great. So like rapping in Creole was dope. Like the language is so incredibly poetic, and when it comes out of your mouth, it's beautiful language, and then of course, Spanish is such a romantic language. So it fit because this is a very romantic song when you're talking about the union of matrimony, so it makes sense to have all these very romantic dialects in one song. So it just worked. But that was the most challenging studio session that I've ever been a part of. And Kris, he knows exactly what I'm saying. But thank you for your patience, Kris.
Oh my, no, she killed it. She killed it. yeah, like, cause I know that we had to go over some parts again because the sounds are different. It's not like just speaking English or you're flipping into a whole different culture and you gotta sort of like, I don't know, rearrange your brain,
Yeah.
look down at your tongue, and then your tongue gotta spit it out. And then when you're trying to sort of rap fast and do that at the same time, it's a difficult thing. So, Bri, I tip my hat to you because you killed it. And yeah, like I'm proud of her. She did an excellent job. So yeah.
I guess maybe for the people who are watching this who have no idea what the three of you are saying at most of the song, and that includes me. What are you guys talking about? Like what are you saying?
In my lyric, I, I told that the people in the world, rarely they can see God creation, but they are living as they are blind. They don't see. They already listen the good news that what Christ did for them, but they are living as they don't listen, you know. And yeah, it's point of my lyrics. And I talk in the second part about me, like I was slave, and he gave me freedom, like, you know, he gave me new heart, uh, new body, new mind. He renew me, you know.
What about you, Kris?
Got you. So I just want to tell this story real quick. So when Ryan contacted me about this song, I was in the parking lot of Walmart, and I was like, and he told me the idea, and he gave me the lyrics. I believe he gave them to me in English, and he said, "Hey, I want you to talk about something along these lines." And I was just, man, like it first off, it caught me off guard because I know he's gonna ask me to do that. So that was that. I sort of felt like Bri in a sense, like what? And so second off, it's just like it really got me to think about like where we are as the body of Christ. And this song, when you hear everything come together, it's like voila. Because essentially, like with the chorus, no matter basically, I'm not gonna say word for word or anything like that because I want y'all to hear the song. It's gonna be dope. But no matter where you are in your walk, even if you have drifted, even if you have, man, just fallen off with your relationship with God, how He is still there for you, and He wants you to come back and develop that relationship with Him. He's always gonna be there, and He's just calling us as a people to come together and just, man, just come to love on Him and love on each other. And so the verses, for the most part, because we were going back and forth, like having, and I'll let Bri talk about this as well, but just bragging on who He is, like, and just letting people know, like, yo, God is still sovereign. Even though all this craziness is going on, we're still calling each other to come together. We're still loving on each other. And so, yeah, that was pretty much the bulk and the heart behind what I was saying.
Bri, what about you?
So being, the only female on the track, I got the liberty to, really talk about being the bride, and it's just talking about, and I'm not married yet. So, I got to talk about, I'm waiting for my husband's return and I want to be ready for when he comes, and it's also saying that, the enemy's been defeated. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside. The church still has a promise of his return. So whatever it looks like on the outside and whatever darkness looks like it's doing right now, Jesus is still coming back for his purified bride. So even if the world looks dark, don't let your heart get dark, because God is coming back for a purified heart too. So it speaks about, being the bride, waiting for the return of your husband, saying that the enemy is already defeated, but that we need to unite as a body.
Awesome. And you explained what your background is. Is there any significance to where you are, Kris and NDS, as far as what's going on behind you guys?
Yes. So the graveyard, man. So the graveyard, that was a crazy. First off, that Ryan, you sort of put me in that situation again, and you know what I'm saying, I didn't want to rap in, in a graveyard, man.
Common denominator is it's Ryan's fault.
When in doubt, blame Ryan. No,
Yeah, I'll point it around. No, but I think it's symbolic, and I think it's dope because as you can just tell looking around us right now, it's not very pretty. It's not all daffodils, roses growing right now. It's there's a lot of darkness, there's a lot of death. In my brain, in my heart, that's what the cemetery was a symbol of. And so, but at the same time, no matter where we're at, you still got to represent God. You still got to go out and do what you're called to do. And so, regardless if there's zombies popping up out of the grave, you know what I'm saying? If it turns into a thriller video, it don't matter. Like, so Kris Noel, you got to go out and do what God told you to do. So that's what it was for me. Yeah. So with the graveyard, yeah. But when I walked up in that graveyard, I was like, bro, like, we really gonna do this? And I had to do it. So
You must like these people. That's why you did it. NDS, what about you?
We talked with Ryan, and we tried to find a place that people can know, in France, and we take the Eiffel Tower. We take the Eiffel Tower in background, and really, near to Eiffel Tower, there every time there are cops, and they don't let people, do clip video with a drone, etc., or camera. And today we go in the Eiffel Tower. There are no cops, no people, and we are really a place for us. It's like God will, And so, and we did it near to Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it's awesome. That worked out nice, right? To film during this craziness, you kind of get that emptiness, right? That you were looking for, that you may have never had at any other point. So Ryan, what about you? You're working with 3 different camera people, obviously different lighting, different settings, different countries. How are you grabbing this footage and piecing that together and making it happen?
Listen, first of all, it was pretty awesome because you're forced to be creative in a different way. I think me and you were talking about this, Justin, on another call. You're forced to be creative. Like, you're forced to really push your creativity and also to lean on other people. This isn't a season where it's me, 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 me. This is a season where you have to have a team, especially because you can't be in the same room with them. So this is a season of trust too. And so, shout out to Jeremiah Chabot. How do you say his name, NDS?
Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy. Okay. Shout out to Jeremy. Just like I search music, I also look for other filmmakers that are doing their thing. And I had kind of came accustomed to a really great filmmaker overseas, and just happened to be where NDS was. Didn't even know the two of them were in the same vicinity. I've been following him for a minute. He does a lot of great commercials and things like that. And it just so happened to be that this random, but not random person that I've found that was amazing lived 30 minutes from each other, 20, whatever, not far from each other at all. And he was like, oh yeah, we're in the same space. And so I connected them on WhatsApp, right? Never had a phone conversation. This is the most I've ever talked to NDS, like a conversation like this. But to kind of convey my ideas to how I wanted it shot in Paris, and then let alone you have Kris and going to Atlanta from Carolina to film his section with Will Thomas. And it was the first time me and Will had worked together, but I've been a fan of his work, and I was like, bro, I'm not getting on a plane to come out right now in the middle of COVID, you know, to go film Kris in the cemetery. Can you go out there and film with him? And he was like, absolutely, definitely. And it was the same thing. Like, I feel like in the CHH, on the film side of things, it's not as cliquish. Like, we support each other. Not to, I'm gonna keep it real. Like, we support each other. And so I was like, yo, I want you to, can you come out and go film Kris? And he was like, absolutely. And I was like, dope. So I was able to do that and just kind of let him, I barely called. The only thing I called was like, yo, get some BTS for the piece. That was it. But I gave him the concept and he went and ran with it. And then Free Crawford, Free Boogie, who is I've been rocking with for 15 years. Amazing choreographer, amazing artistic director, amazing director, you know, amazing cinematographer, that whole nine. I was like, yo, we shot 3 videos. What was it? 3 videos in 2 days for you?
Yeah. 3,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And so it's just like, go get all the content we can get because we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So, but I know we need content. So kind of gave 3 the same kind of concept. I sent him like a whole bunch of visuals and trusted him enough to get that. And then we shot in Chicago, you know, and, you know, my crew's here in Chicago and just said, all right, I hope everybody sends us back some dope footage, you know, and me and Kris kind of sat back and just had like our whole vision board up there. We were just like, all right, let's do it, you know, but dealing with multiple different cameras, multiple different lightings, multiple different personalities when it comes to cinematography and just being able to trust and being like, I probably wouldn't have shot it like that, but I'm not mad at that because that's dope and that's different. You know, and when you see the video, you'll see it just doesn't say directed by me. You know, you'll see like people need to get their flowers when they're working on stuff. Like, so many times you see things, it's just like, but you didn't do all that. You know, you would take the credit for it, but you didn't do all that. So you'll see that like there's unity not only in the music, but there's also unity behind the scenes on this as well. So first time I ever did it. I don't know. We'll see how the next steps go. Because I would have loved to go to Paris, man. That would have been dope. Everybody thought we were in Paris. I was like, nope, I'm in Chicago. And like,
it's a Zoom backdrop. It's a Zoom backdrop of the Eiffel Tower.
Everybody thought we was being fake with it, man. So I just saw you in Chicago, man. You're not in Paris. I didn't say I was in Paris. I said we're filming in Paris. We're filming in Paris.
We, not me. Yeah, I know just from the music side of things, you know, you have people doing features and different stuff all the time, and you're exchanging files or producers or sending stems or whatever. And sometimes, you know, those can be really bad, but at least you can tweak it or you can ever. But with like film, if the footage is bad, like it's bad, like it's unusable. You don't have stems to the film. So yeah, it's truly a feat. Now, Mod, what was it like when you heard this whole track come together? Because again, you built this before everyone was on it.
Yeah, man. It's always great to get the finished body of work, man. You know, when Ryan sends me the final copy, or not even the final copy for like my ideas, or if I have any notes, I barely have any notes. You know what I mean? That's not because I'm like detached from it. It's just like, man, like we keep raising the bar. You know, we keep setting the bar higher and higher, and we have such a cohesive team and such a great formula now. It's like, you know, I get to sit back, kind of keep my feet up on the beach, you know, while they top it off. You know what I mean? So it's like just hearing the finished body of work, man, and knowing we've built a great team, a great cohesive formula that works for us and works for our sound. And you know, it's really great hearing it, man. And you know, when Ryan was telling me they were gonna go back and forth, you know, when we were building it, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have him go, you know, bar for bar for bar. I'm like, all right, let's see. And Ryan already know, like I'm always on the west side, not even on the skeptical side. I'm always on the side of like, all right, we'll see. All right, we'll see. All right, we'll see. Like, cause he just has so many ideas, and you know, I can only imagine when people listen to me and my ideas, and they be like, okay, yeah, we'll see. You know, so I'm like that with Ryan sometimes. I'm like, all right, I hear you. Let's just get it done. You know, let's just execute, and it never fails, man. You know, it comes back exactly the way, if not better, than you know, he shared it and he showed it to me. So you know, it's always good to hear it. And obviously having such great talent on the record, such cool faces, such cool people, you know, my brothers and my sisters, you know, NDS, you know, good to meet you again, you know, via Zoom, you know, but it's always good to just hear it come together, man, and hear it finish. So I'm always excited and overwhelmed each time we do it, each time we put something outside. And so I'm just ready for the world to receive it, to be blessed by it, you know, to hear our sound, man, and hear what the kingdom sound.
So what if anything else do people need to know about this song, the music video, the track, before we go?
I just want to say something. I didn't know what anybody else was doing for set or anything like that. So, you know, when I had got a glimpse of the different locations, man, like the cemetery scene for me, it just resonated so much within myself. And I'm so glad that the cemetery scene, like that was chosen, because, you know, when you're called a living sacrifice, you know, and there's a death to self, you know, and dying daily. There's a death to self and there's a dying daily that happens, you know, and it truly is a daily process. When you're being prepared for marriage, there is an old life that doesn't suit that lifestyle anymore. And so when I saw that cemetery, I was able to relate to it in such a personal way, because I know that, you know, in my heathen days, my heathen lifestyle, it's not conducive for when you're being prepped and prepared for marriage. So there was a whole process of the death to self, you know, and so that cemetery scene, like that gave new life to like the process of becoming the bride. You know, you can't just live out any type of way anymore. Like, no, because I'm being prepared for holy matrimony. So there's a purification process that happens, you know? So I just thought symbolically, it was so dope to see, you know, Kris Noel in that type of location. And like I said, with the recycle yard, like we weren't even planning on going there. We had a whole different location planned out. And I didn't know where we were going. I'm just like, okay, driving, you know, and then Free was just like, we were driving to the location, and Free was just like, you know what? I spotted something else. I think it's going to, you know, work so much more. We pull in and I'm seeing this recycle yard. Everything's dirty, you know, everything's like, it looks worthless, you know, like other people's trash and all that. And then the Lord just kind of downloaded it to my spirit, you know, I'm coming back from my bride in a filthy world. So the way that God, he was so instrumental in the detail work, I'm just like, okay, Lord, this is a message that you want your body to hear right now. The message of unity, the message of, you know, I know that it's a filthy world. I know that we're living in a filthy culture, but I'm still coming back for a purity in this filth. So to know that those little details, they weren't planned. But on the way to, you know, like our road to Damascus, we had other plans, but God had other plans, and he kind of intervened and interjected and interceded on our plans to seed his plans. It just makes it that more beautiful, knowing that God's hands was all over it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's dope. Does anyone else have anything to say on the song or say in general?
I really want to thank Ryan for this project, and really it's like a dream to mix many language like this, different language, and put Samuel with Spanish and in English. Wow, I never heard a song like this. And really, Ryan, I want to thank you, Kris Noel and Bri. Really, it's a blessing for me. I learn a lot with your flow, your works, and your lyrics. So I listen your other songs, and really, it's a blessing. So I want to thanks God, and thanks Ryan, and thanks Kris and Bri, and thank you all.
Thank you, NDS.
What about you, Kris? You're the last one. We heard from the other two artists, and now you have to say something.
Oh, I'm just in awe, man, of just the excellence that Ryan continues to operate in. Honestly, like I'm not playing around. Like I've never seen anyone go all the way down to the nitty gritty in detail when it comes to art and fine tune it the way that man has. And so everything that he does for God has been like voila, and
Yes.
it's just such a blessing for me to be a part of. And so it's been a giant blessing, Ryan, for to be able to do something on this song. Thank you for allowing me to get on here and just release them. And like I said before, like I promised God that I was gonna take everything that He put inside of me and just give it right back to Him. And it's been weird within the space that we had to find that lane to do so. But it's things like this where Ryan called me, like I wasn't even thinking about it. Like I said, I was in the parking lot of Walmart, and Ryan called me up and said, "Hey, can you release on this?" And so it's been a ginormous blessing for me to be able to do something like this. And all I hear is excellence, and I see God just smiling all over this thing. And so when you guys hear it, you're gonna know what I'm talking about.
I would be remiss to not shout out Jack Red. He's not on here right now, but Jack is the extra part of what me and Ma do. Like he is as Kris is with the flow and being a linguistic and all that. Like Jack Red is probably the best mixer, vocal arranger that I've ever worked with. Period. And so I think that the sauce, the excellence, it's just being led by God to trust other people to bring together what they do best. You know, that's the whole thing about curating, being a curator, whether it's film or it's music. You know, you're orchestrating something, you're putting it together, and it can't be all about you. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't speak Spanish. You know what I mean? I don't speak Creole. I don't speak Tamil. Like, you know, I don't play drums. I don't program. I don't produce the way that Mod puts music together. You know, I don't do that, you know, but I know what I do. And I think a lot of times people don't know how to stay in their lane. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times people are not honest with themselves, and you end up wasting a lot of time. You might end up wasting your life, you know, trying to be something you're not, instead of doing what you were called to do. And so I just love painting pictures and creating with people that are better than me, to be real with you. So thank y'all
Yeah.
for letting me be a kid in the candy store playing around with all y'all talents and gifts, making me look like I know what I'm doing.
You're just being a director. You're just grabbing people. You do this, you do that. By Friday, Bri, you're gonna do this. Kris, you're going to the graveyard. You're still directing, so you're still making. I guess in music, you're just A&Ring. That would be the difference.
Thank you and the Rapzilla family, man, for having us. It's always a blessing and a pleasure to be on platforms like these that I never thought I'd be on. I've been doing music for quite some time now, and to God be the glory. He used Ryan as a vehicle to have my face, have my name, have my family a part of just what you guys do in the CHH community, man, and just the kingdom and the culture itself, man. So thanks, Ryan. You already know. Thanks, Bri, NDS, Kris for blessing the record, and thanks Rapzilla for being a part of this special body of work, man, and letting the world, releasing it so the world can hear it.
Hey, Bri, what do you got coming out? What else? What you doing?
So yeah, God is give. I haven't been released to speak. Jesus, before he went into ministry, his disciples were always trying to get him to do things out of sync and out of time, but he let them know, like, look, for you, any time is right, but it's not the time yet, So I knew that God had been preparing a message within me, but I knew it wasn't the season to release it yet. And so, just recently I've been given the ability to release. And So I'm going to be starting a podcast really soon. I've been working on my album. You know, shout out Doc Watson, shout out Amplify. You know, they've been absolutely instrumental in release dates, you know, all of it. And I just want to just give them their roses. And but yeah, there's going to be a lot of things that is coming out from me. I'm going to be dropping a single every month for like the next 5 months. So I got content, you know, in the arsenal, and it's for an hour such as this. So every single song is going to have a message about the times, about the culture. You know, you're going to be hearing me sing, you're going to be hearing me flow. There's a lot of different sides of Bri Smilez that that you're going to be seeing within this, you know, this next year. So, you know, I'm gonna be going on tour soon as well, back on tour, God willing, you know, with everything. So God has been keeping me really busy, you know, behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, just preparing a message. I think that, you know, especially with this podcast, like I don't want Bri Smilez's word to be doctrine. That's not my intention. I want to be a messenger of what God is saying from heaven and what he wants to say to his people in this season and in this time. So I'm going to be very deliberate about message and interpreting the hour that we are in. So watch out for that. And yeah, a lot of things coming up in the horizon. And last thing, I just want to give a huge shout out to Red Gorilla Entertainment, because Red Gorilla they are all about, they're kingdom curators that are just totally committed to kingdom excellence, you know, and they're raising the standard on kingdom and what kingdom content looks like. And so a huge shout out to all, like when I prayed about this, I've been praying for 6 years for God to send me the right team and the divine architects to help me build the vision that God had placed within me. And he brought me these beautiful kingdom-minded men that are committed to excellence in the same way that God said, I want you to be an excellent all you do, because we are a reflection of him. So everybody that's been a part of this is kingdom quality to the max, and I couldn't have hand selected them myself. So they're definitely God's elite, you know, that's a part of this record, a part of this project, and a part of the album. So it's gonna be awesome.
This is what the kingdom, like, it should look like right now, like multiple different tongues speaking the same language. And that's what it is, you know, and that's beautiful to me. And I mean, flawed individuals trying to speak life into other flawed individuals to bring people to Christ is what Red Gorilla, what we sign up for every day. So I think it's amazing. And then why can't we do stuff that hasn't been done before, so that we can spark ideas for people to continue to do stuff like this? This is all about unity.